But the best purchase is a fan that runs on battery, so if the hurricane hits, you flick that on as long as you got that little air going.
You're good, yeah.
good.
I'm gonna have to invest.
Okay.
Good morning, Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach joiners on Facebook. Welcome, and this is your 10-minute roll call. So you have time to get ready, get your coffee, adjust your television sets and yourselves in preparation for a wonderful and invigorating, enlightening service. We are so grateful to be here in Vero Beach. It's beautiful today and warm. So 10 minutes, this is it. And listen to some beautiful music by Aric, Attas in the background while we wait.
Did you get an order of service?
Oh, I can buy this for my meditation. I have to do a warm mind press every day. That makes me to be here. Because otherwise I lose him. I love Unity people. It's like a ghost town 3 minutes before 10.
Good morning, Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach, and welcome. Good morning. All right, so we're going to start with our welcome song, so if you all would join along, that would be wonderful if you know it. If you don't, it's repetitive, so just listen the first time and join in the second and third time.
And that's the joy song.
No, we're not doing the joy song first, so don't pay attention to those words yet. I'll let you know when to pay attention to those words.
and welcome. I'm Leslie Hotvet, and on behalf of the board, we welcome you. We are radiating happiness and so thrilled to see you in person and hopefully at home. It is my great joy to introduce our speaker today, Aric Attas. Aric is, I don't know where to start with Aric. He does so much. He is an artist. He is the official photographer at Vero Beach Museum. He is a creative coach. He's a teacher. He is a wonderful, wonderful father, son, and husband. And I love to think of him as my dear friend. Aric and I met a couple of years ago when we were both hired by the Museum of Science to work with veterans. And I soon learned that Aric survived 2 bouts with cancer and used meditation as a big part of his survival. And he started coming to the meditation at the Lotus Center, and then when COVID happened, he suggested that we do meditation by Zoom. And we've done that every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So I feel so honored to have you here, Aric. And before we hear from you, Marty Mahalko will give the opening prayer.
Good morning. My name is Marty, and I'm blessed to be a member of your Board of Trustees. So if we could all take a breath and settle into this time and space. As we come together as one, we are truly blessed. And in this quiet comes spiritual understanding. And we are truly grateful, and we bless this service and all those who participate in our of service, our youth program, our music, our speakers, our technical, which is here all the time. We are so blessed, and we say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
My name is Walter Janke, and I'm the prayer chaplain today. I'm available for confidential prayer after service in the chaplain's corner. On behalf of all of us, I affirm and give thanks for the inspirational, energetic, and innovative minister that we know is on their way to us now. Today's daily word is realize. And the affirmation is, I realize the power of spiritual truth. I have had many aha moments throughout my life when something that had befuddled me for years suddenly became clear. It may have been something I tried to learn in school, a skill that I practiced and tried to master as I grew, or even an idea that challenged my understanding of the world around me. Whenever I realized something new, I could feel my world expanding, opening up before me in fresh and exciting ways, making me eager to discover even more. On my spiritual journey, I feel a similar excitement as I realize I have so much more than a spark of divinity within me. I'm fully divine, just as I'm fully human. I feel newly alive in this realization, and so very grateful for it. From Genesis 28, verse 16. Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. The affirmation is, I realize the power of spiritual truth. Let's affirm all of us together now. I realize the power of spiritual truth.
So as we prepare for meditation, if you just hold the space at the end of the song, and then we will have a wonderful meditation. So the song is called In the Stillness.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Beginning our meditation, making yourself comfortable, positioning yourself so that your head, neck, and spine are straight, and shifting your weight so that your body feels fully supported. Taking a couple of full, deep cleansing breaths, inhaling as fully as you comfortably can. Sending a warm energy of the breath to any part of your body that is sore or tense or tight. And releasing the discomfort with the exhale so that you can feel your breath going to all the tight, tense places, loosening and softening them. And then gathering up all the tension and breathing it out so that more and more you can feel safe and comfortable, relaxed and easy. Watching the cleansing action of the breath with friendly but detached awareness. And any distracting thoughts or feelings you might have, those too are sent out with the breath, released with the exhale, so that inside you can be still and quiet, like a lake with no ripples. And now imagining a place where you feel safe and peaceful, either imaginary or real, a place from your past, or somewhere you've always wanted to go. It doesn't matter, just so that it feels good and safe and peaceful to you. And allowing the place to become real to you, looking around, taking the place in with your eyes, enjoying the colors, the textures, the scenery, looking around and taking it all in. Listening to the sounds of the place, whatever they might be, letting your ears become familiar with the particular sounds of this place. And feeling whatever you were sitting against or leaning upon. Or perhaps feeling the quality of the ground beneath your feet. Feeling the air on your skin, either breezy or still, crisp or balmy. Just enjoying the feel of this place on your skin. And smelling its fragrance. Whether it's the soft, full scent of flowers or the pungent scent of salt sea air or sweet meadow grass. Just enjoying the sense of this place. And as you become more and more attuned to the safety and beauty of this place, feeling thankful and happy to be there, you begin to feel a kind of tingling on your skin, a pleasant, energizing something in the air, something that contains expectancy and excitement. And you know with some certainty that there is magic in this place, and something wonderful is just about to happen. And as that certainty settles around you, you know to raise your eyes, and coming toward you from very far away, you see a remarkable and shiny being, at first hard to distinguish, then more and more discernible, emanating a full, soft aura of radiant light all around it, highlighting and intensifying everything it shines on. And as this beautiful being approaches you, perhaps familiar or perhaps not, it doesn't matter, just so you can feel the love and wisdom in the steady intensity of its beautiful light approaching you. Coming up to you and bathing you in soft brightness, and feeling the light softly touch your skin, letting it soak into you, deeper and deeper, permeating your body. As you experience the compassionate eyes looking at you, seeing the deep, kind gaze look into you. Breathing this bright presence in, letting it move through you like a warm wave. Understanding that you are being seen in all your complexity and all your simplicity, seen and understood and acknowledged. And just letting that awareness fill you. Feeling your heart open to a warmth that expands into your entire chest, softly and easily, and all through your body, touching an ancient memory of who you really are and who you have always been and always will be. Touching your own bright and indestructible soul as you open to the sweet connection, enveloped in soft light, melting and merging and molding into it. Held by the loving gaze of this beautiful being, held by deep understanding and a sense of utter safety. You take in fully and deeply the love so freely offered to you as you feel your own love in return, free and boundless. Seeing the beauty of your own life, comprehending your own life's journey from the vantage point of this powerful, healing light. Seeing it all the pain and fear and hardship, and all the courage and kindness and love, the special gifts and abilities, the moments of triumph and great beauty, the moments of despair and lost perspective. All of it seen through the softness of this exquisite light. And feeling a new kindness towards yourself and others, a new forgiveness of yourself and others for disappointments of the past. Letting it go. Letting it all go. Making room for possibility and growth, for living the truth of who you really are. Fulfilling your purpose, exquisitely attuned to this light, in harmony with all things, and feeling love and gratitude for this awareness. And now, letting your bright companion depart just as smoothly and seamlessly as in coming to you. Gently and easily moving on, going back to wherever it can. And so feeling peaceful and easy, knowing you can call forth this beautiful being again whenever you wish to. Still feeling the halo of powerful, loving light surround you, your own radiant protective cushion. Breathing rhythmically and easily, feeling yourself in your body, fully present, feeling safe and comfortable. And so gently and with soft eyes, letting yourself come back into the room whenever you are ready. Perhaps enjoying the sensation of moving after being still for so long. Knowing in a deep place that you are better for this. And so you are.
That was beautiful. Okay. We all probably want to just stay in that place. It's always hard to come out of a meditation. It's my job to take you out. So I will be requesting that you participate as always. Like I always ask, you can clap. And I'm hoping that I hear an amen every once in a while. It's been single of us, you know, we haven't had a full band here, so we're getting the whole crew back together the 1st of August, and then we'll be back from there. I want to put it out there, we're looking for a drummer, and we are looking for a bass player. So if any of you know a drummer, bass player, we're looking for those people, so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was great. So I'm back. Welcome and thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you today. I want to thank you for the opportunity to share some stories with you. And I share these as examples, and I hope that you'll find them inspiring and meaningful. I want to give a special thanks to Leslie, my dear friend, and to the board for making this happen. I am very grateful. I was asked to speak today on the idea of understanding. As in, with spiritual understanding, I know that everything is unfolding for my highest good. For me, spiritual understanding represents a deep, intuitive form of knowing that's very different from the intellectual knowledge, although the two are very easily tangled. So let's explore. Putting understanding into words can be very difficult. Much like trying to express a meditative or mystical experience through language. It's virtually impossible. Once you start speaking or writing, you shift out of the realm of understanding and back into the realm of intellectual knowledge. So in an attempt to get past this challenge, I'd like to share a few stories that I believe express my own journey from intellectual knowledge to spiritual understanding. Hopefully these examples will convey the experience of understanding and ultimately its power to bring peace and optimism regardless of the situation. The story begins on March 12th of 2001. That was the day I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And this story has a good ending, I promise. I'm here, so it's okay, right? A few hours after learning my diagnosis, my family and I boarded a plane to visit Disney World. You remember that commercial? Hey, you've just been diagnosed with cancer. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney. Yeah, right. Okay. So one moment I was hearing the words, "You have cancer." The next moment I was on a crowded airplane on my way to the Magic Kingdom. Talk about a shock to the system. Let's back up a little bit. Prior to being diagnosed, we had planned a trip to take our 4-year-old son, Meyer, to Florida. We were living in Connecticut. We were going to meet up with my parents and my grandmother down in Delray Beach, spend a few days swimming in the pool and basking in the Florida sun before heading up to Disney to experience the magic of childhood wonder. Wow, the real Buzz Lightyear. I'd been assured by my brand new oncologist, I couldn't believe I had an oncologist, that everything was going to be okay and that spending some time in Florida with my family would be a great thing to do. He told me I would get very busy with this when I got back and encouraged me to try to relax and enjoy my family as much as I could. Needless to say, I was pretty stunned and confused by this unexpected diagnosis. I did my best to put on a brave face for my family and to enjoy myself. It was surreal to be on vacation at Disney World with so much uncertainty about my future. Everyone around me was smiling and laughing, wearing Mickey Mouse ears and goofy t-shirts. Inside, I was wondering how much longer I'd be alive. I love research, and my natural tendency was to try to learn as much about my non-Hodgkin's lymphoma as I could. I didn't have my computer with me though, so Google wasn't an option. I excused myself from my family, took a little drive to the nearest Barnes & Noble to seek out some knowledge. After finding a few reference books, I pulled up a chair and began reading. I'm not sure what I was hoping for or expecting, but reading about possible treatments and outcomes just made me more anxious. Like, I think I might throw up kind of anxious. I didn't have enough information about my cancer to make sense of what I was reading, and I just wound up feeling overwhelmed and scared, not particularly helpful. Although I had a lot of love and support around me, I felt lonely, immersed in my anxiety and fear about the future. My grandfather, Meyer, was diagnosed with cancer when I was about 17 years old. I was a junior in high school. He never left the hospital after his diagnosis and died 6 weeks later. I wondered if that was going to be my fate. I spent some time meditating on my situation and used my journal to work out the thoughts and feelings that emerged. Through this process, I eventually came to understand that it was best to let go of imagining possible futures and to just be with what was, whatever that was, moment by moment. I didn't know what was to come at the time, and maybe that was for the better. I was in Florida with my family. The weather was beautiful, and my son just wanted to ride on my shoulders, swim around, and horse around with me in the pool. What more could I ask for? Through journaling and meditation, I'd gained an understanding that things were unfolding for my highest good. This allowed me to be present with my family and enjoy that precious time together. It wasn't instant, and it wasn't like a switch just permanently flipped. I had to continue my meditation and my journaling process, building trust in my understanding along the way. When we got back to Connecticut, I was thrown into being a full-time cancer patient. CAT scans, blood work, bone marrow biopsy, that hurt. Traveling to Boston and New York City for second and third opinions. My cancer became more clearly defined, and I was prescribed a chemotherapy regimen called CHOP plus Rituxan. My prognosis was excellent, but I would have to deal with some pretty heavy side effects. I'd been eating mostly organic foods, avoiding red meat and poultry, and thought of myself as generally healthy. I was only 35 years old. I'd recently earned my master's degree in fine art photography and was busy exhibiting my work, teaching college classes. We had a vibrant 4-year-old son and another baby on the way. Life was good. The thought of filling my body with poisonous chemicals was difficult for me to come to terms with. In addition, I felt permanently broken and damaged, which I found very upsetting. While in that state of inner conflict, I remembered an experience I had had while waiting for the biopsy results. I was out for a walk, and I had a spontaneous vision of myself playing solo guitar in front of an audience in a small theater setting. It was music I'd never heard before, something that I'd created. The feeling was vibrant. I felt more vibrant and alive than I had in a long time. In that moment, I experienced a profound understanding of the healing power of creativity. And I made a commitment to myself that if I was in fact diagnosed with cancer, that I would play my guitar every day. I understood that my creativity would give me the power to face any challenges ahead. This wasn't intellectual knowledge. There were no facts or statistics guiding me, just a spiritual understanding from deep within. To honor this understanding, I committed myself to playing guitar for just 10 minutes a day. Surely I can manage that no matter how sick I felt. To make this possible, I set up my studio so I could quickly pick up my guitar, tune it, hit record on my computer, and immediately begin recording an improvised ambient guitar meditation. The effects and recording software were all set up, ready to go at a moment's notice. Each session began without a preconceived idea about where I wanted to go or what I wanted to play. I was in the unknown. I simply allowed the sound to take me on a journey and trusted that the outcome would be good. To start the process, I would strum a random chord or just slap the strings and make a sound come out that I could just follow along using my intuition. Working this way, I recorded over 20 CDs in a few months. Each track was unique, and each helped me release the emotions within, most of which were buried deep within the realm of understanding, far beyond language. The healing energy released through this process was immense. It was so simple, took so little time, yet it had a profound effect on my mood, my energy, and my belief that everything was unfolding for my highest good. Around that same time, I started an online journal. Now we call it a blog, but in 2001, nobody knew what a blog was. I started that to communicate with family and friends without having to spend all day on the phone. I knew things were going to get dicey and that there would be days I just wouldn't have the energy to talk. I wanted to stay connected, and a blog seemed like a simple solution. This act of creativity proved to be an invaluable way for me to work through my thoughts, emotions, and ideas while connecting with the people who cared about me and who I cared about. Here's an account of the transformation that occurred within me through the process of writing. This comes from my cancer journal just about 2 weeks after I first heard the words, "You have cancer." I should be gathering my films, reports, slides, and notes from our meeting at Dana-Farber in Boston tomorrow, but I can't resist putting down a few thoughts. I've been reading the email responses to the blog over and over. They have been filling me with an intense healing energy. My sense of being connected has never been greater. Acceptance. Immediately after finding out my diagnosis, which felt more like a verdict or sentence, I spent a week or so going to those dark places in myself where fear, mortality, and death lurk. Seeing photographs of my grandfather Meyer throughout the house made me feel two things. On one hand, I knew his spirit was watching over me, taking care of me in his cool John Wayne way. On the other hand, I felt the void of his absence. Even though he's been gone a long time, it still hurts. There are so many things I wish I could have shared with him. Thinking of his absence, I imagine people in my house looking at pictures of me and wishing I was there to share their lives. It just wouldn't stick, though. I know I'm not going to die from this. I know his spirit is watching over me and my family, and I know that he is smiling and nodding in approval and love. Understanding. When we returned from Florida, we met with Dr. Siegel to learn about my cancer and prognosis. I spent the rest of the week getting 2 CAT scans, a bone marrow biopsy, a PET scan, and some blood work. That week was easy, even though I felt like somebody's biology project. I read a lot about non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, arranged for my various tests, and spent some time relaxing and meditating. Healing. At first, I was apprehensive about starting my chemotherapy. It felt very final and invasive. Reality was setting in. I am a cancer patient. In trying to understand my anxiety, I realized a few things. My mind and body had become separated through this process. While my mind could accept and understand my cancer, my body was not yet part of the process. Over the past few days, I've made a transition. I've begun to heal my body through meditation, playing music, journaling, and of course, by opening up to my friends and family. The gap between my mind and body has been closed. I no longer feel anxious about my chemotherapy. Instead, I welcome it as part of my healing process, which has already begun. I have an amazing sense of vitality and calmness throughout my mind-body. I'm shimmering and ready to continue this journey, accepting all it has to offer. I had a realization that I am a creative person, an artist creating my life. I welcome this cancer as a collaborator in my creative process. I will contribute everything I am. The cancer will do its best as well. I have no expectations of what my life will be like after this, and I have no desire to return to my life before cancer. Instead, I relish in the opportunities in front of me. Let the process unfold moment by moment. So in about 2 weeks, I was able to go from feeling like the floor had just been pulled out from under me to feeling energized and confident, fully trusting the process with a deep spiritual understanding, knowing that everything was unfolding for my highest good. So how was I able to do this? I believe that engaging my creativity was the key, and still is the key. A few years before my diagnosis, I had received my MFA in fine art photography, where I worked exclusively with the photogram. Without getting into too much detail, a photogram is a cameraless photograph made in the darkroom by placing some objects onto a piece of photographic paper or film, exposing that to light and developing it. Any areas that are exposed to light will turn black. Any areas that are protected by the objects will stay white. You might visualize this as a photograph made entirely of light and shadow. The beauty of this technique is its utter simplicity. It's very low tech. That allowed me to focus on the image and the image making process instead of the film, the cameras, the lights, and all the gear that was normally part of my workflow. The simplicity of the technique took me out of that work zone and encouraged exploration and play. Working in this way, I was able to develop an experimental approach to my work that meant starting with a blank sheet of paper and diving into the uncertainty with a playful sense of wonder. What will it look like? What if I try these things? What if I move the light during the exposure? How about diluting the developer? I used this process to explore ideas I was fascinated by, including cosmology, relativity, quantum physics, and spirituality. I didn't have any fixed idea about what I was creating because it was impossible to know. Instead, I focused on my intention of creating images that evoked a sense of wonder and mystery about the universe and a sense of connection to it all. The darkroom, illuminated by the ambient glow of an amber safe light, bathed in the sound of flowing water, became my meditation room. There I could mediate a convergence between art and science. Those years in the darkroom prepared me for this new uncertainty in ways I never could have thought possible. My imagination was primed to visualize healthy cells and positive outcomes. My mind was willing to take a break from needing to know the outcome, and my heart was ready to trust the process. By engaging my creativity, I was released from a place of fear and anxiety, loneliness and uncertainty, and transported to a place of feeling safe, fulfilled, and vibrantly alive. I went through 6 rounds of CHOP plus R chemotherapy. My tumor shrank almost immediately. I was able to get all my treatments on time, and I was even able to be present at the birth of my youngest son. 2 baldies. They grew back. He just turned 20 as I celebrate 20 years since my treatments for non-Hodgkin's. Rather than surviving, thank you. Thank you. And he's this tall now. Rather than surviving cancer, I thrived. Instead of hanging on to the edge of the cliff by my fingernails, staring at the rocks a few inches from my face, I climbed the mountain and stood at its peak, where I gazed out over the horizon to see infinite possibilities. In closing, I encourage you to embrace your creativity, whether it's expressed through painting or photography, writing, gardening, making muffins, playing music, or interacting with your family and community with love and kindness. The form of your creative expression doesn't matter. If your intention is to create an authentic life, there's a good chance that you will be filled with a spiritual understanding that everything is unfolding for your highest good. Thank you.
much. We feel like Aric is such a part of Unity. In the foyer, in the Welcome Center, there's a beautiful picture of Mother Earth, and I call it All One, and Aric did that. So before you leave today, please just take a moment and stand in front of it and look at it and absorb that wonderful, wonderful energy. So today, I'd like to talk to you about ways to give, and we know the more we give, the more we receive. Using your telephone is the easiest way, and if you just put into your phone the word give to 844-937-1769, or go to unityofvero.org. We would appreciate every single cent. There's no donation that's too small. The more when we give, we're opening to receive. Please let us know if you have a prayer request. We have 2 very active prayer groups. The chaplains, Walter is representing the chaplains today, and the prayer ministry on Tuesday. So please send your prayer requests. So if you will take your gifts and your intention, I don't have my telephone here, so I'm picturing my gift in your hands, and join me in saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we say, thank you, God. And our ushers today are Marty and Lolita, and they will be coming around. Thank you.
Okay, get ready to join in again. What do you do when trouble's got you down? Think that trouble, then find your way around. Turn to the right, move ahead, just keep taking that next right step. Take that next right step, oh, take that next right step. Turn to the right, move ahead, just keep taking that next right step. All right. This is going to send you out, everybody. Clap along. You'll know the words by the end. You can join in. What do you do with a roadblock in your life? Thank that roadblock like a blessing in disguise. Turn to the right. Move ahead. Just keep taking that next right step. Take that next right step. Oh, take that next right step. Turn to the right. Move ahead. Just keep taking that next right step. We're all going to take that next step. Just keep moving. Keep on moving. Just keep moving on. All right, let's see it. We're all taking the next step. Take that step. Take that next right step. Oh, take that next right step. Turn to the right. Move ahead. Just keep taking that next right step. Keep on taking that next right step. Keep on taking that next right step. Take that step. Take that step. Take that step. Take that step. I don't see anybody walking. Take that step. Take that step. Take that step. Turn to the right. Move ahead. Keep on taking that next right step. Just keep taking that next right step. Just keep taking that next right step. the next step will be out of the door, you know, to your journey this week, but hope it's the right one.
Oh, Laura, I just wish you would have some enthusiasm. I mean, really. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone here. Thank you, everyone watching. Thank you, Aric. Your meditation was inspiring. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome anyone who is new or newer to Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach. She got me so excited. We appreciate you being here, and if you're not here in person, we welcome you. Some announcements for today. Please mark your calendar. You should have marked it a few weeks ago. We have a special musical event on Sunday, July 25th, that's next week, with some young, extremely talented musicians. First, they will be here at our Sunday service, and then they will have a concert at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And Dr. Jacob Craig is the musical director at First Presbyterian Church of Vero Beach, and he will be conducting the concert. You should have had this on your ePath newsletter, but the reservations must be made. Limited tickets are 100. And you can go to verovinofestival.com/artist-series. So please be sure to be there. We had planned a fundraiser silent auction to start today. Unfortunately, we have a glitch in the computer system, and we will be rescheduling it, so it's coming back. Your board continues to monitor the COVID cases in Florida and Indian River County, and cases have risen, and some people choose not to get vaccinated because of medical conditions. And we assure you that anyone who wishes to wear a mask and remain socially distant to feel completely comfortable doing that, and you will be supported by everyone. We are an inclusive community, and we choose to be respectful and refrain from judging. Our own Patty Carlson, keep moving with your powers. Wednesdays, 10:30 a.m. to 11:45, and this is the third week that it's happening. It's a 6-week program. And today we're starting something new, Lunch Bunch. Anyone who wishes to meet for lunch today, the place to meet would be at Panera's near Target at the northwest corner of State Route 60 and 58th Avenue. It'll be immediately following service. There is outdoor seating if you choose to do that, and we look forward to meeting you and making new friends. And we're going to continue this on a monthly basis, and we will have the place predetermined so everyone knows where to meet. And thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon.
So, Barb, real quick, you said 100, but I wanted to make sure everybody understood that was 100 seats are available.
100 seats are available.
Right, not that it is $100. Okay, so let's all stand and join hands, up, elbows, whatever you feel comfortable with, for the peace song. Let there be
say the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Join us for lunch. Here.